So what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and yes, that's right, there's going to be Japanese content coming up really soon, including today's episode, as I'm going to be talking about all of the awesome pickups I got while I was in Japan. Basically, a whole bunch of Nintendo Switch games. Let's get straight into what these pickups are, because I'm super excited to be showing you guys what I got in Japan. Starting with this game, The Curse of Kudan. Now, The Curse of Kudan is a game which I think I first heard about from my good buddy Ghostlink here on YouTube.
What's up, dudes?
It is a sort of semi-horror visual novel, I reckon is right up my alley. You know, you gotta love those cute waifu girls in a horror thriller setting. There's going to be a lot of mystery to this one. I'm really looking forward to it. The backlog is going to be building up. It's going to be gigantic after what I show you today. So next up on this list, I have Omori. Now, believe it or not, yes, I have played a little bit of Omori. Finally, yes, a game that I have actually played. The start of this game has caught my attention straight away. The whole white space thing, that's a mystery in itself, and then you've got to like figure out the puzzle to get out of the white space and into the actual part of the main game. Man, this game has a lot of potential. It is inspired by the likes of Undertale and Earthbound. This is an RPG. Some people say it's not a JRPG because it was not developed in Japan, but you know what, who cares? This definitely feels like a JRPG to me, and I'm really excited to get more into this game. So next up, I have the double pack of Ever 17 and Never 7. Now, you are going to be seeing a lot of visual novels on this list, and there are so many that are picked up in Japan. The Nintendo Switch is ideal for visual novels. In Japan, there are visual novels everywhere. I could not believe the walls and shelves of Nintendo Switch games, and I swear, like a fourth of them, a quarter of the games that I found were visual novels or some type of anime waifu game. And of course, being a double pack, how could I pass up the opportunity? And I've also made sure that every single game that I picked up in Japan has some type of English support, except for maybe one or two games here and there. So the next game is Needy Girl Overdose. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not too sure if I'm going to be enjoying the micromanagement with this game, as it is sort of like a simulation type of game where you're this VTuber idol star who talks to her fans on the internet and YouTube. This is a game which I was drawn to the anime aesthetic, the whole waifu thing on the front cover. Yes, I am so guilty. I am a simp for that kind of stuff. But regardless, I'm hoping this is a game that I can get around to liking, and it is something that I want to get invested into sometime in the near future. So another visual novel I picked up in Japan was Dyschronia Chronos Alternative Definitive Edition. I don't know if it's like fully inspired by like the Zero Escape series and other things of that type, form and factor, but from what I've seen, it looks like it does have puzzle elements to the game along with the visual novel setting, and I love the Zero Escape series, and having puzzles in between the narrative and visual novel segments was something I really enjoyed. It was a great way to break up just like the whole reading marathon of like what a visual novel is. Dyschronia looks like it could also deliver very similarly to things like Virtue's Last Reward and 999. So Dyschronia is something that I'm pretty excited to get stuck into. And of course, yes, another visual novel, Some Convenience Store. Now, this is a more straightforward visual novel. It's got waifus plastered all over it. I think in this game, you run a convenience store, or you're at least working alongside these girls who also work in the same convenience store. I'm not too sure if they're other workers or if they're customers or a mix of the both, but as you can expect with a game like this, yes, there's going to be branching pathways for different waifus and girls that you can date and get to know. Very sort of stereotypical type of game, but you know what? I like that kind of stuff, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. Now, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this because I've never played a Final Fantasy game before, but here we have Final Fantasy X and X2 HD Remaster. This game did get a quote-unquote physical release in Australia. When I say that, well, it was sort of like a half-half frozen Coke. The first game, X, was physical on the cartridge, but X2, you had to use a download code to get the game. And I had the game in my collection, in my possession for quite a while, but my OCD got the better of me, and I'm like, no, I'm buying this game to play physically. Why do I want to have a download code? Why would you even opt for the whole whole download code in a box thing, it's just disgusting. Like, physical all the way. And yes, I know, I can hear you. Upper Nimbus needs to play a Final Fantasy game. Yes, John Chicken Fillets, I can hear you from the other side of the globe.
Just play Final Fantasy, Upper Nimbus, come on!
So another visual novel game that I picked up was Island. Now, funny thing, because I had actually put together a to buy list or a to hunt list while I was in Japan, I knew about this game. I knew that it had English tech support, and it was this visual novel that I had my eyes on for a really long time. But for whatever reason, I completely forgot to put it on my to buy list while I was over in Japan. And lo and behold, luckily while I was browsing the many game stores while I was over there, yes, I came across Island and I thought, oh, that's right, this is something I was going to buy. How did I forget to add this to my wish list? What is wrong with me? So I'm so glad to have Island in my collection. It's one that I had my eyes on, and I'm super happy to have this in my possession. Now, this is a series I haven't really touched when it comes to the games and visual novels, but I've watched the anime Fate Stay Night, but I have, in the same universe, I think, is Witch of the Holy Night. Now, to be honest, I really don't know too much about this game, other than the fact that I think it is in the same universe as the Fate series. I did enjoy Fate Stay Night, the animation, what was it, back in 2007? I've had a lot of people say that that's not the one to watch, but it was the one I ended up seeing back in the past. I really do not know what to expect, apart from the main girl on the front cover is gorgeous. She is a hottie. Is that enough to justify why I bought the game? Like, yeah? Okay. So speaking of more hotties, I have this game here. I cannot remember the name of it. I think it's something like the Medical Examination Diary, but here we go. Now, I actually saw this game quite a bit in Japan, especially in the secondhand stores Book Off. So I don't really know if it's that popular, if a lot of people over there were like selling it off, but I got it pretty cheap for like $35 AUD, so it was about 3,400 yen or whatever it was. Yeah, I saw the collector's edition brand new for this a couple of times. That was a little bit more expensive. It was about $170 AUD. I don't know. This game, I was really tempted to get the collector's edition because, hey, I'm a little bit obsessed with collecting. I got the standard copy anyway. So another visual novel, no surprise, is Stellar of the End. This is another game that I don't really know too much about. The visuals and the aesthetics caught my attention immediately when I saw it. Yes, it was on my to buy list. There's a whole bunch of stuff on my wish list that I picked up. Maybe at least a third of them I really don't know too much about, but buy now and worry about later, right? So yeah, this is another game that I've added to my collection. Really happy to have this physically in my Switch collection. When I get around to playing it, who knows when that'll be, but best to get it now than never, because otherwise, well, the prices just keep going up. Continuing with the visual novels, we have Lunaria. Now, this is another game which has English support. There were so many games in Japan that I really wanted to add to my collection, but because I'm terrible with Japanese, I only know the most minimal basics. Unfortunately, well, if I got those games that were Japanese only, I'd kind of be stranded, especially with them being visual novels. So luckily, this is another one I can eventually enjoy reading in English. Really excited about that, and let's see what else we got. Oh, you wondering what game is next? Yeah, another visual novel, Ginka. Yes, I bought alone on the fact of its aesthetics and its art style. It really drew me in. Love the girl on the front cover. She is beautiful. She's absolutely gorgeous. Not too sure where this story is going to go, but out of like most of the visual novels that I've picked up, I don't know what it is about this game, but just like from first glance, this has got my attention like the most, I would say. Oh man, there's something about it. I just get a good feeling about it. Even the name, the simplicity of the name Ginka. I don't know what it is, but that's got my ears ringing, and I definitely want to know more about this game. Maybe I should have read the blurbs for some of these before I started like talking about them. I'm a guy who just bases things off like emotions and first glance, so yeah, it is what it is. I'm a little bit surprised I actually came across it, but it's actually Valhalla. While I was in Japan, believe it or not, I actually had a friend saying, hey man, you should pick up Valhalla. And funny thing, he did not even know I was in Japan. And I was like, yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out for it. And he was probably just thinking, oh, okay, Nimbus will eventually just buy this game off eBay at some point in the future. Literally like 2 days later, I find the game in a secondhand store in Japan, and I thought maybe this game would have been really, really pricey, but I think I got it for about maybe 3,000 or 4,000 yen. So that's like $40 AUD? Yeah, those prices over there, they are cheap when you're comparing from AUD to JPY. So next up is Return to Shiranagasu Island. This is also a visual novel, no surprise. I'm going to be saying, every time I say visual novel, please take a shot. Seriously, I've probably said it about 50 times by now, Jesus. I don't know if Shiranagasu Island is a real place in Japan, but funnily enough, one of the places I did go to was Okinawa. And the really cool thing about this game is that it does have horror elements. Like, I've seen some footage on YouTube, because I was curious one night and I was like, ooh, yeah, this is a bit creepy. And I say that like I'm excited, which I am, but at the same time, I'm a little bit cautious with horror games. I really want to get invested in them because they have some of the best stories, some of the best like immersion in a game, but I also don't like being at the helm of a horror game because I'm like, oh God, I'm the one in control. I'm the one who could like make a wrong decision and just like crap my pants. There is a bit of hesitancy there, but I want to sort of break past that and really embrace some of these horror games. So here we are, finally not a visual novel, but a JRPG, and that is Freedom Wars Remastered. Now, I'm not too surprised that we didn't get this physically in Australia. We don't always get the best things in Australia, which really kind of sucks. But yeah, I was really happy to get this while I was in Japan. The premise is something like you go to prison, but it's like this really sort of supernatural prison. You got to spend, what is it, like 1,000 years in like jail? I don't know how you live for 1,000 years, but apparently you're in jail for 1,000 years and you got to pay for your crimes. Oh, you got to like battle monsters. It's sort of similar to like God Eater and Monster Hunter, like big monsters and demons, and then you got to like fight them off. I don't know if they're trying to like break the jail. I mean, why would you want to battle the monsters if they're going to free you anyway? I'm just jumping the gun with the story here. But yeah, something about being locked up for 1,000 years. I'm really keen to check this one out. Like, there was a lot of hype around this game's announcement, and it released pretty quickly after it was announced. I don't think it was a big gap between the two. Now, I'm really excited about this one, but this is the Grisaya trilogy. Yes, the Grisaya trilogy. Now, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you guys. I was not expecting to come across this game on the Nintendo Switch in Japan. I had a feeling it was going to be more on the rare side, and admittedly, yeah, it kind of was. I don't know, it took me many, many weeks in Japan to even come across this physically. This is the only copy that I found while I was over there, and I'm so glad that I picked it up. This is on my wish list. I don't know what it is about this game, but I've heard things about it. This is a whole trilogy on one cartridge. That's exactly what I want in my collection. Grisaya Trilogy is an absolute gem. Believe it or not, that is not the only Grisaya that I picked up. I also managed to pick up Grisaya 1 to 5, 5 to 8, Grisaya Phantom Trigger. Also a continuation of the Grisaya story, I'm going to guess and assume, just from the name alone. But yes, my mission was to get all the Grisaya games on the Nintendo Switch. I think they were secondhand, so somebody definitely traded in their collection. This was probably one of the most priciest sets of games I got while I was over there. Each game was about like 6,000 to 7,000 yen each. Not gonna lie, that's standard pricing in Australia. That's like $80 to $90 AUD. I'm kind of used to those prices for games over here, so like it wasn't too terrible for me personally. But when I was buying games for like $20 and $30 AUD, and then getting those Grisaya games in contrast, it's a little bit of a steep price, but I knew I wanted these games and I was willing to invest the money in them, so I'm so glad I got the whole Grisaya set. This thing is probably going to take months, like absolute months to get through. So next up is Ghost Trick. Ghost Trick is like an adventure, sort of visual novel type of game. I think it might have some platforming elements, like you're actually moving around side-scrolling left to right, solving detective mystery murder cases, things like that. Yeah, really happy to have this one physically. Capcom, like, well, in Australia I should say, never releases anything physically, unless it's like Monster Hunter for Nintendo and then Resident Evil for PlayStation. But like, we never get Mega Man physically. Oh, we do get some of the Street Fighters, but we do not get Ace Attorney physically unless you go back to the Nintendo DS. So Capcom, maybe bring your crap over to Australia, that'd be nice. So here's another recommendation from my good buddy Ghost Link.
What's up, dudes?
But I have Samurai Maiden. So this game's kind of like a fun sort of 3D hack and slash type of adventure game. Yes, we're actually straying away from the visual novel aspect. It's nice to have a different genre on this list. Really simple fun. You are samurai babes wielding long blades and beating the crap out of zombies pretty much. I think that's really all there is to it, as far as I know. Sure, there's a deeper plot to this game. Apart from that, I'm just happy being sold at like waifus. Like, what more could you ask for? And speaking of waifus, yes, we're coming back to the waifu visual novel games, and that is My girlfriend is a mermaid. I think the title is pretty self-explanatory. My girlfriend is a mermaid. And that's the story. Yeah, I don't really know what else there is to say about this one. I don't think this is one that could be taken seriously, just from the name alone. Glad it has English text support. That's the most important thing of why I even picked it up. I don't know, there might be an anime associated with this game. Maybe it was the anime My Bride is a Mermaid. And I think that's completely separate at that point. But mermaid girls, what could possibly go wrong? So next up, I have the Akiba Strip games, or Akiba Strip. I think it's Akiba Strip, but I like saying Akiba Strip. This is also another sort of zombie beat 'em up type of game. I think it's a JRPG, 3D JRPG. You know what? It's actually making me think of High School of the Dead. Maybe that's what this game is sort of similar or based on, or the other way around. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if it's going to perform the greatest on the Nintendo Switch 1, but luckily, that's why I've got the Nintendo Switch 2. Hopefully there's some type of upgrade performance patch or whatever. Yeah, if I ever feel like just having some mindless fun, taking out some zombies, playing as some cute girls, some cute boys, Akiba Strip sounds like the game to play. So next up, I have a card-based JRPG, and that is Card on CL. I first heard about from my good buddy Taylor over at the Gaming Shelf. I remember he made a video on this, or a couple of videos, like going back to, I think it was last year this game came out. I do like my card deck building type of games. I might not be the greatest at them. They are a bit of a learning curve to get around, but once you get the hang of those types of games, my god, they are so much fun. One game I played that was card deck building based was Culticept Revolt back on the Nintendo 3DS. That was a really fun game. God, those battles are super long though. It took hours to even get through like one of the main bosses at the start of the game. So I do wonder what the difficulty spike is like in this game. Looking forward to it, and Taylor, thanks again for the recommendation. This game looks amazing. So next up, I've got two Clannad games I was missing in my collection. I know this one is Tomoyo A Wonderful Life, and this one, I don't know the Japanese name. It's like Clannad Hikari or Hikaru something, but I think the basic English translation is like Clannad Side Stories. As you can guess with side stories, I think it's literally like side content that the developers had in mind, which they never bundled with the original Clannad and Clannad After Story. I think it really does focus on the side characters in the Clannad media franchise and focuses on story elements that took place within the narrative of Clannad. So I'm personally excited about that. I'm really keen to see like what some of the characters got up to. If we actively play as them, who knows, but we'll find out one way or the other. And with Tomoyo, It's a Wonderful Life, I know the PC version, it's uncensored. Of course, it's a bit unfortunate that the Switch version is censored. I do wonder how racy the Switch version is. I'm sure there'll still be some pretty nice elements. Anyway, yeah, Tomoyo, I always struggle to choose between her and Kyo Fujibayashi. I just don't know which one of those two that were my favorite. There's something about the both of them was amazing. Maybe a part of me leans more towards Kyo though. Yeah, she's hot. Hey Ghostlink, guess what bro?
What's up?
You also recommended this game to me, Anno Mutationum. So this is an awesome cyberpunk aesthetic type of game. I don't really know the genre of this. I don't know if it's RPG or visual novel or somewhere in between, but it's just this awesome adventure mystery game set in a cyberpunk neon city. To me, that is enough to sell me. Like, that is heaps to sell the game to me. You play as an awesome kick-ass girl. This is a game that I'm like really keen to get into. Like, cyberpunk stuff is so cool. I love cyberpunk so much. It's one of my favorite themes. So another visual novel, Ghostlink, you may have suggested this one as well, is Abyss of the Sacrifice. I don't know if it's horror exactly, but it's definitely got some like deepish, darkish themes to it. I'm not sure if you're like literally falling into an abyss. Yeah, a whole bunch of anime girls on a visual novel mystery adventure. I can't remember if this game has puzzle elements like the Zero Escape series. It actually might. So that makes it a little bit more unique and different compared to the other visual novels on this list. Yeah, this one is also, I'd say, top 10, 8, whatever games on this list that really caught my attention. So happy to find this one like in my first 3 days in Japan. That's amazing. It's definitely my type of game for sure, and really keen to see where the narrative goes. So here we have a double pack. It's called Tokyo Chronos and Alt Deus Beyond Chronos. Yeah, they're connected or something. I was really curious if these games in this twin pack were connected to the game Discronia at the start of the video. And lo and behold, well, I don't actually know if they are connected, but they are from the same developer. And there's something about this developer and just the word Chrono. Like, not Chrono Trigger, but in regards to like Chrono time, I'm guessing. Something to do with just the word chrono. They may or may not be connected. Sort of like the science adventure games with like Steins Gate and Chaos Head. I'm gonna guess it's more of the mid-range of game quality. It doesn't look like it's something that like really stands out, but it's cool that it is a twin pack. I love my double packs, and no regrets having this in my collection. Now this one was a surprise. Had no idea what it was. I still don't know what it is, but the game is called Marchen Forest. This is actually an RPG. Apparently it's a really sort of like cozy, cute, little quaint RPG. I don't think it's anything extreme. If you want to have a really laid back experience under the RPG umbrella, then this game is definitely for you. From what I was reading online at least. I just picked this up because it had English support. I wasn't expecting to come across it. I thought this is really, really cheap. It was like $22 AUD. Yes, I also found it in a book off. Happy enough to have it in my collection. Apparently this also has a collector's edition. That would have been cool, but hey, you can't have everything. Apart from that, yeah, it's probably one I'm going to put on the back burner. I would not consider this game a priority in my books. Maybe in about 20 years I'll play it. Now the final standard Nintendo Switch game that I got was the Hatsune Miku Fitness Boxing. I love Hatsune Miku, big fan of Vocaloid characters and music, so I know this game isn't really like solely about rhythm game stuff. It literally is a boxing fitness game. It might have similarities to like Ring Fit Adventure and ARMS. Will I actually play this game? I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'll be in the mood to play something like this, if I just want to like sit back and relax and like enjoy a visual novel or an RPG. For a bit of harmless fun with Hatsune Miku, yeah, what could possibly go wrong with chucking it on for like 30-40 minutes and giving it a go. So yes, we are going to get onto the collector's editions, and the first one I have is Ghost Pier. Now Ghost Pier was a game I was hunting, of course, but I was only expecting to get the standard edition, and I took it up to the counter at and I picked up the game. It was like 3,000 yen, super cheap auto. Took it to the counter, and then when the staff member came back to the counter, she had this collector's box, and I was thinking, what? I didn't get the collector's edition, so I don't think she made a mistake. I think it literally just was the collector's edition the game came as. So that was a really nice surprise. Super happy to have Ghost Pier collector's edition in my collection. Now the final collector's edition I got was Blue Reflection Second Light. Yeah, this one was really, really unexpected. For like 3,000 yen. A whole collector's edition for like 30 bucks. Now the Japanese version does not have English support on the cartridge, which is why I've got to keep the old version because it is the English copy. I've heard some really good things about this game. My good buddy Paige Femtrooper, she loves this game. She highly recommends it. She said multiple times that it's not a game that she expected to like, but she gave it a go and she fell in love with the game. So if she recommends Blue Reflection Second Light, then it's got to be good, right?
Nimbus, you've got to play it.
That's everything for today's video. Really hope you enjoyed what I showed today. And of course, if you liked the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support really means a lot. And yeah, jump on board because I'd love to have you around. So until the next time, everybody, Upper Nimbus is signing off.